In the 1970s, a man named Arthur Hickey proposed a plan that sounded completely unbelievable. Freeze the water around the Titanic and turn the wreck into a gigantic artificial iceberg. The idea was simple in theory. Make the wreck buoyant enough and the ocean would do the lifting. But how would you freeze thousands of tons of seawater nearly 4,000 meters below the surface? How much liquid nitrogen would it take? Could an enormous frozen structure actually support the Titanic without destroying the wreck? And if the plan somehow worked, could we really bring the Titanic back to the surface? In this video, we're going to uncover the bizarre engineering plan, the physics behind it, the staggering numbers involved, and why this extraordinary attempt to raise the Titanic never left the drawing board. The Titanic rests roughly 3,800 meters beneath the surface of the North Atlantic, nearly 4 kilometers below the ocean. At that depth, the wreck is surrounded by darkness, extreme pressure, and an environment where conventional salvage equipment cannot simply operate like it would near the surface. And there is another problem. The Titanic is not an intact ship waiting patiently to be lifted. The wreck lies broken into major sections across the seafloor, with debris scattered around it after more than a century underwater. So any attempt to raise it would have to support an enormous and deteriorating structure without tearing it apart. That is what makes Arthur Hickey's proposal so strange. Hickey was a haulage contractor from Britain's West Midlands who came up with a radically different approach to the salvage problem. Instead of attaching enormous cables to the Titanic and trying to pull the wreck upward, his idea was to surround it with ice. The basic physics sounds almost ridiculous, but the principle is real. Ice is less dense than liquid water, which is why an iceberg floats. Hickey's proposal was to use that property on an enormous scale. A framework would be placed around the wreck, and seawater inside the structure would be frozen until the Titanic became enclosed within a massive artificial iceberg. The ice would effectively become the lifting body. Instead of cranes pulling the Titanic upward, buoyancy would do the work. As the frozen structure became large enough, the entire mass could theoretically begin rising from the seabed. But there was an obvious problem. The water surrounding Titanic is not cold enough to simply freeze itself. Something would have to remove an enormous amount of heat from the seawater deep beneath the Atlantic. That is where liquid nitrogen entered the proposal. Liquid nitrogen is extraordinarily cold, boiling at around minus 196 degrees Celsius under atmospheric pressure. The concept was to pump it down to the wreck and use that extreme temperature to freeze the seawater surrounding the ship. It sounds straightforward until you consider the scale. You are not freezing in a swimming pool. You are attempting to create an enormous buoyant structure around one of the world's most famous shipwrecks, nearly 4 kilometers below the ocean surface. And when the proposal was examined, the estimated quantity of liquid nitrogen became extraordinary. The British Oxygen Company, known as BOC, calculated that roughly 500,000 tons of liquid nitrogen would be required. That figure changes the story completely. This would no longer be a conventional salvage operation. It would require an enormous industrial system capable of producing, transporting, and delivering cryogenic liquid to the seabed. And even that would only solve the first problem. Because once you freeze the water, you still have to answer the question that could make or break the entire idea. How do you create an artificial iceberg large enough to lift the Titanic without destroying the wreck inside it? The first stage of the plan sounds simple enough. Get enough liquid nitrogen to the wreck and start freezing the surrounding seawater. But freezing water around the Titanic is only the beginning. The proposed system would need to create a buoyant jacket of ice large enough to surround the wreck and remain structurally connected to it as the enclosure grew. Contemporary accounts describe the concept as turning the Titanic into an artificial iceberg that could then be floated toward the surface and eventually towed to Newfoundland. The wire framework would become the skeleton of that artificial iceberg. Instead of relying on the Titanic's deteriorated hull to carry the lifting force, the framework would distribute the load across a much larger frozen structure surrounding the wreck. Liquid nitrogen would then be delivered down from the surface, cooling the seawater until it froze around the framework and the ship. But there is a fundamental problem with freezing something this large. Ice does not form instantly. Heat has to be removed from the water, and the surrounding ocean is constantly trying to replace that lost heat. The deeper the frozen region became, the more seawater would have to be cooled to extend the ice envelope, and every additional layer of ice would add weight as well as buoyancy. That creates a delicate engineering balance. The frozen structure needs to become large enough to generate useful buoyancy, but not so large and heavy that its own mass overwhelms the lifting force it is supposed to create. The Titanic itself would also remain inside the frozen mass. That means the wreck could not simply be treated like a rigid steel block. The bow and stern are separated by hundreds of meters, and the wreck has been deteriorating on the seabed for more than a century. Any movement would therefore have to be extremely slow. If the frozen jacket rose unevenly, concentrated forces could be transferred into sections of the wreck that were never designed to carry them. And there is another question. What happens to the ice as it enters warmer water? The Titanic would be surrounded by thousands of meters of ocean during the ascent. The artificial iceberg would move from one thermal environment into another, and the outer layers could begin melting as the structure approached warmer water nearer the surface. That means the salvage operation could not simply freeze the wreck and wait. Engineers would have to maintain enough buoyancy throughout the entire journey. The concept, therefore, becomes a race between two opposing forces. On one side, the frozen water provides buoyancy. On the other, the Titanic, the framework, and the ice itself add mass that gravity is constantly pulling downward. And beneath all of this sits the most fragile component of the entire system, the Titanic. Even if the artificial iceberg could become buoyant, the next question would determine whether the idea survived beyond the drawing board. Could a structure built to lift the Titanic actually carry it safely all the way to the surface? Even if the artificial iceberg could become buoyant, getting it to the surface would be an entirely different challenge. As it climbed through warmer layers of the Atlantic, the ice would constantly lose heat and begin melting. Maintaining enough buoyancy would require continuous control of the frozen structure throughout the ascent. And the Titanic itself would still be the greatest risk. The wreck has already suffered more than a century of corrosion, structural collapse, and biological deterioration on the seabed. Any uneven movement or concentrated load could damage sections of the ship that are already extremely fragile. Then there was the sheer industrial scale of the proposal. Producing roughly 500,000 tons of liquid nitrogen, transporting it offshore, sending it nearly 4 kilometers downward, freezing a massive volume of seawater, and maintaining the resulting structure during an ascent would require an extraordinary combination of infrastructure and engineering. The proposal was never carried out, but that is what makes the story so fascinating. Arthur Hickey wasn't simply proposing to lift the Titanic. He was proposing to change the physical environment around the wreck and make the ocean itself part of the lifting system. It was an audacious idea built around a simple piece of physics: ice floats. The problem was, everything that had to happen before that principle could be scaled to a 46,000-ton ship resting nearly 4 kilometers beneath the Atlantic. And perhaps that is why the strangest Titanic salvage ideas remain so fascinating. Because sometimes the most extraordinary engineering stories are not the projects that succeeded. They are the ones that made engineers ask, What if we tried something completely different?